Those were the last words my brother ever spoke to me, right in front of our entire extended family at my retirement party. I stood frozen, my badge in one hand, my whiskey in the other. He was dead serious, and nobody said a word. I should have known things were going to blow up. The moment I let my brother Kellen move into my place for a few months, everything started cracking. But it wasn't just him. It was his wife, his two clingy twins, and his bitter little dog that pissed on every rug I owned. I'm 43, ex-cop. Just retired after 20 years in the Memphis PD. Built my house from the ground up in a quiet stretch of Shelby County. Long porch, big trees, peace, peace. Yeah, that was gone the second they arrived. Kellen said he just needed a little time to figure things out. He'd been let go from some startup job in Austin and said the market was brutal. Fine, I told him. 2 months max. I even cleaned out the upstairs guest suite. I should have trusted my gut when he hugged me like I'd just handed him a winning lotto ticket. At first, things seemed normal. I'd wake up, brew coffee, head to the range, and they'd be in their own world. His wife, Britta, barely made eye contact. The twins screamed at ungodly volumes, but I kept my mouth shut. Then I started noticing things. Photos on the walls. Moved. My grandmother's quilt, gone. Replaced with some Etsy garbage. My fridge got filled with weird food, vegan crap. My bourbon, accidentally, poured down the drain because Britta said it was triggering her sobriety. My name wasn't even on the mailbox anymore. They'd peeled it off. But the real gut punch, that came the night of my retirement. I had my party. In the backyard. Low-key. A few old squad buddies, some neighbors, a grill, and cold beer. Kellen gave a speech. Everyone thought it was touching. Until the last line. He raised his glass and said, "We're proud to take care of family, especially now that this place is finally under proper stewardship." People clapped. I blinked. What the hell did that mean? After everyone left, I confronted him. What was that about? Proper stewardship? He didn't blink. "This house is bigger than you, Quinn. It's time it served a real family. You've got no wife, no kids, no legacy." I laughed. "It's my damn house. I built it, paid every dime on it." Kellen just smiled. "Did you, though?" Then he pulled out a file. A manila envelope with copies of something I instantly recognized. The deed. Only it wasn't in my name. See, months ago, I'd refinanced through a family trust my buddy Micah helped me set up for tax and asset protection. I'm not an idiot. I'd read about lawsuits, liabilities, even corrupt ex-cops getting sued over. Nonsense. This was supposed to keep me safe. Kellen had somehow accessed those papers. And he thought family trust meant shared property. "You used our father's name on the trust," he said smugly. "That means we all have stake." I wanted to punch him instead. I walked into the kitchen, grabbed my badge off the hook, walked back out and slammed it on the table. "You want a symbol?" I growled. "Here, but you're gonna choke on what comes next." He grinned like he'd already won. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't cry either. I just thought and planned. They thought they'd boxed me out? Nah. I still had access to the secondary holding company I'd quietly set up last year. One they didn't know about. I'd already funneled $120,000 from my pension lump sum into a property deal 2 counties over. I hadn't told a soul. By morning, I was in my truck driving downtown to see the one person who could burn this house of cards down, my lawyer, Donnell. She didn't ask questions, just read the papers, whistled, and said, "They're about to get hit so hard they'll see stars." But the storm hit sooner than I thought because Kellen, that coward, actually tried to sell the house that week to a guy from his church. The title company flagged it immediately. My name was still listed as sole trust executor and trustee. When I found out, I didn't scream, I just smiled. Then I filed a cease and desist, a temporary injunction, and a motion to dissolve the original trust due to attempted fraud. And then I froze every damn asset Kellen had touched in the past 6 months. His accounts, his car title, even the new laptop he bought with my home office credit card. You think he called to apologize? Nope. He called to threaten me. "You'll regret this," he hissed over the phone. "We're blood. That house was supposed to be the family legacy." I stayed silent. Then I said one word, "Wrong," and hung up. 3 days after the call, I got served. Not a lawsuit, a petition, filed by Kellen and his wife. They wanted me declared mentally unfit to manage the trust. I'm not kidding. According to their claim, I was emotionally unstable, exhibiting paranoid behavior, and prone to violent outbursts. They even cited my service weapon discharge from 2016, The one where I shot a burglar who broke into a daycare. I'd gotten a medal for that. They said I had trauma-related judgment issues. Then they tried to subpoena my retirement psych evaluation. I stared at the paper in disbelief. That's when the anger really set in. They weren't just trying to take my house anymore. They were trying to destroy my name. I called Donnell. She was already 3 steps ahead. They want to go to war? She said. Let's make it nuclear. By noon, we had filed a countersuit for trust fraud, financial coercion, malicious prosecution, and attempted conversion of assets. In plain English, we were going to crush them. But it wasn't enough for me. I needed to see what else they were hiding, so I drove to the county registrar's office and pulled every document Kellen had touched in the last 2 years. What I found made my blood run cold. He'd already used the family trust as leverage to secure a private loan. $65,000 personal line of credit, with my property listed as collateral, illegally. He forged my digital signature. He used my home as a pawn. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I took the file, drove straight to the sheriff's office, and asked to speak to the fraud unit. I laid it all out. Forgery, fraud, attempted theft. They took it seriously. They opened a criminal investigation. On the spot. That night, I drove back to the house. It was almost midnight. I didn't go inside. Just parked across the street, engine off, watching the lights. Through the window, I could see them, Kellen and Britta, laughing. My blood boiled. They were laughing in my home, sitting on my couch, using my heat, watching a TV I'd bought last Christmas as a gift to myself. I gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles cracked. Then I drove away. The next morning, they struck again. An email from Britta. Subject line, "Let's talk like adults." I opened it. It was 6 paragraphs of fake concern, laced with insults. "You've been through so much, Quinn. Maybe you don't realize how unhealthy your behaviors become. We're not the enemy. We're just trying to create a future for the kids. Are you serious? You break into my finances, lie to the court, try to steal my house, and now you want sympathy?" I didn't reply. Instead, I looped in Donnell and added the email to our filing under psychological manipulation tactics. Then, I posted everything on my private veterans forum. The trust, the forgery, the petition. Within hours, I had 10 ex-officers offering to help. One buddy, Retelling Ramirez, even said, "Hell, I've got a cousin who's a forensic doc. Let's bury him." And then came the bombshell. Donnell called me Friday night, voice flat. "Quinn, we just got discovery back from the credit bureau. You're not gonna like this." My stomach dropped. They took out another loan. What? A home improvement loan, $92,000. On my house? Yes. And here's the kicker. It was approved after you served the injunction. I nearly dropped the phone. That's contempt of court, right? "Oh, it's worse than contempt," she said. "It's federal bank fraud. We filed an emergency injunction and brought it straight to a judge. By Monday, a writ of possession was issued." Which meant what? They were officially trespassers in my house, not tenants, not family, criminally trespassing squatters. The sheriff's department executed the writ 48 hours later. And let me tell you, when that cruiser pulled up to the curb and 2 officers stepped out, I wish I could have framed the look on Kellen's face. He came to the door all smug like usual until he saw the badge. Then his face dropped. "What the hell is this?" The deputy read the order out loud. "You are hereby ordered to vacate the premises immediately under penalty of arrest," Britta screamed. Kellen ranted. The twins cried, but it didn't matter. 10 minutes later, they were standing on the lawn, with garbage bags and a broken stroller, looking like a kicked-over trash heap. And me? I walked up the driveway, took one look at them, and said, "You wanted the house so bad? Hope the motel's got a porch." Then I unlocked my front door and walked back inside. 2 days after they were kicked out, Kellen showed up at my workplace. Not outside. Inside. In the damn lobby. I was sipping my second coffee when security called. "Hey, Quinn, there's a guy downstairs. Says he's your brother. Should we let him up?" My stomach twisted. "Don't let him move. I'm coming down." By the time I got to the lobby, he was pacing like a caged animal, hair a mess, shirt wrinkled. He saw me and practically charged. "You proud of yourself? You humiliated us in front of the whole neighborhood. You got us kicked out like trash." I didn't flinch. "You are trash," I said calmly, "and you're trespassing again." He froze. That's when the real meltdown began. Kellen started shouting. "You think you're better than everyone because you had a badge? Because you played hero while mom and dad scraped to raise you? What? We grew up in the same damn house. There was no scraping." He wasn't even there half the time, off partying or dodging jobs while I took 2 jobs in high school just to pay for my own car. I protected you, I snapped. I protected all of you. I kept quiet. Paid your debts, covered for your screw-ups. I gave you a place to live. And you tried to ruin me. He didn't deny it. He just sneered. You're still alone, though, aren't you? That one stung. But I didn't let it show. Security arrived a second later. Kellen got escorted out. I went back upstairs and called Donnell. We're adding workplace. Harassment to the claim, I said. She agreed. They're unraveling. Fast. But they weren't done. Not even close. Later that night, Britta posted on Facebook a long, unhinged essay about how I'd manipulated her husband, how I was hoarding generational wealth, and, get this, how I had a dangerous history of violence. She even uploaded a photo of me from a 10-year-old crime scene, a blurry shot. Me in uniform, blood on my shirt, holding a child I had pulled from a shooting. Out of context, it looked sinister. I reported the post. Facebook removed it within hours for harassment and misinformation. But the damage? Already done. Neighbors started whispering. I saw the shift in their eyes. Some folks at the gun range stopped making small talk. That's when I realized. Kellen and Britta didn't want the house anymore. They wanted to destroy me. Donnell filed an emergency motion, this time for defamation and targeted character assassination. It wasn't just a civil thing anymore, it was becoming criminal. Then the cops called. Quinn, you'll want to come down to the station. Why? Because that morning, someone had made a tip-off call to the ATF, said I was hoarding illegal firearms. What? They raided my shed. Guns, all legally owned. Registered, locked, logged. I'm a former cop, for God's sake. But someone had filed a fake report using a burner number and a masked IP. Guess who had access to that storage list? Kellen. He'd helped me build the damn shelf 6 months ago. The feds cleared me the same day. But my blood was boiling. I called Donnell again. We're going scorched earth, I said. You read my mind, she replied. We opened a full civil suit. Not just fraud, not just defamation. Malicious, abuse of legal systems, false reporting, cyber harassment. The works. But then came the twist. One night I got a call from an unknown number. I usually ignore those now. But something told me to answer. Quinn? A shaky voice said. It was Britta's sister, Laurel. I don't know what to do anymore, she said. They're out of control, and I think you deserve to know what they're planning. My heart thumped. They're planning what? She took a deep breath. They're trying to sue you again, this time for emotional abuse. But that's not it. They're also planning to file a guardianship petition. I blinked. For what? For you. Laurel hesitated. They've been forging emails, fake therapist notes. They said you're unstable and shouldn't be in charge of your finances, that you need a conservator. I sat there, stunned. They wanted to declare me incompetent, take control of my accounts, my retirement fund, my properties, my life. I thanked Laurel. She said she was willing to testify. I hate what they're doing. It's disgusting. I hung up and stared at the ceiling for a long time. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from fury. They wanted to strip me of my freedom? They had no idea what I had planned next. 2 days after Laurel's call, I filed my final motion, full court petition. I was done playing defense. This time, I was coming for blood. The motion included everything: the forged emails they sent to my retirement board, the burner phone used to file a fake ATF tip, the Facebook defamation, the unauthorized loans using my house, the harassment at work, and now, the conservatorship scam. Donnell bundled it all under one explosive heading: coordinated psychological and financial attack against a retired public servant. We attached 119 pages of documentation. Then we filed for a permanent restraining order, financial sanctions, and court-ordered psychiatric evaluations. For them. Because if they were so obsessed with declaring someone crazy, let's start with a mirror. The court date was set for 9 a.m. on a Monday. They showed up late, disheveled. Smug Kellen even wore sunglasses like he was walking into a photo shoot. Britta had the nerve to nod at me like we were about to grab brunch. I didn't smile. I didn't blink. Sat in silence and watched them walk into their own trap. The judge was a no-nonsense woman in her late 60s, former federal prosecutor. Didn't like drama, didn't like liars, and especially didn't like wasting court time. Donnell opened with, A summary so cold it could have frozen glass. Your Honor, my client is a decorated, recently retired police officer. In the past 4 months, the defendants have launched a calculated campaign to erase his autonomy, steal his assets, destroy his reputation, and falsely depict him as unfit, all for financial gain. The judge nodded slowly. Then she turned to Kellen. Mr. Barlow, do you deny any of the claims made against you? He cleared his throat. Well, see, there's a lot of confusion here. This wasn't malicious, it was... The judge raised a hand. No speeches. Yes or no? He hesitated. Britta interrupted. Your Honor, we're family. Families fight. The judge's eyes narrowed. So do criminals. What exactly is your defense here? They tried to pivot. Said I was controlling. Said I had anger issues. Said I once broke a remote in a fit of rage. The judge actually laughed. Then we played the voicemail. The one where Britta screamed, "You'll wish you were declared insane when we're done with you." Silence. Then Donnell pulled out her last card. Your Honor, we also have testimony from the defendant's own relative, who will confirm their intent to fabricate mental health records. Laurel entered the courtroom. They didn't even look at her. She took the stand with shaking hands and told the truth. Every word. They planned to make Quinn look crazy so they could take his money. They said if they controlled the narrative, they'd win. Then she added, they even joked about how he had cop brain and how nobody would believe a single male ex-cop over a sweet little family. Kellen's mouth fell open. Britta's face turned gray. The judge leaned forward. Well, this just got interesting. Then she turned to me. Mr. Barlow, would you like to make a statement? I stood, looked straight at Kellen, then at Britta, and said, I serve this country, this city, and this family. I gave more than I got, and the only mistake I made was letting you sleep under my roof instead of leaving you on the street where you belonged. Then I sat down. No applause, no drama, just the truth. The judge made her ruling 20 minutes later. Full permanent restraining order, granted. All assets accessed fraudulently, frozen. Court psych evaluation of Kellen and Britta, ordered. $128,000 in financial damages, awarded to me. Public court statement, entered into record, making their actions legally acknowledged as malicious. But the best part? The injunction against their attempt to file any future legal petitions involving me. They were officially blocked, silenced, done. Outside the courthouse, they tried one last time. Kellen grabbed my arm. You'll regret this. I shook him off. You've said that 5 times. Still waiting. Britta yelled something about karma. I smiled for the first time in weeks. You spelled it wrong on Facebook, by the way. Then I walked to my truck. Free. I went home that night and poured a glass of bourbon. Sat on the porch. Same porch they'd once said didn't fit my lifestyle. I watched the sunset. No drama. No noise. No leeches. Just quiet. But even as I sat there, letting the silence wrap around me, I knew. They weren't done. Not because they had power, but because they had nothing left to lose. And people like that? They always come crawling back. I hadn't heard from them in 3 weeks. No calls, no emails, no whispers. And just when I thought they'd finally buried themselves, they went nuclear. It started with a letter, plain envelope, no return address, just my name, typed, no handwriting. Inside, a photo. Me. From 22 years ago, arm in a sling, eyes hollow, sitting on the steps of a burned-out building, the caption scrawled in red ink across the bottom. We know what really happened in Knoxville. My spine locked. That fire was supposed to be buried. I was just a rookie then, off duty, responded, to a domestic disturbance near my apartment. The place went up in flames within minutes. One life was lost. A young girl, 6 years old. I never spoke of it again. The official report cleared me, but not all the rumors. And now, they were digging it up. I stared at the photo, stunned, then flipped it over. A phone number, no name, no message, just one instruction, call, or the press gets everything. I didn't panic. I didn't flinch. I scanned the photo, ink, paper, watermark. Then I drove to Donnell's office. She ran the number through her forensic firm. Spoofed, encrypted, routed through 3 countries. She looked at me over her glasses. They're trying to blackmail you with 20-year-old trauma. Charming. Then she added, let's go find out where the photo came from. By that evening, she had it traced. A small print shop on the outskirts of Fayetteville. Guess who placed the order? Not Kellen, Britta's father, a man I'd never even met. She had pulled her whole extended family into this. They were going all in. Donnell leaned back. They want to destroy you emotionally since they lost legally. I poured myself a coffee and said, let's return the favor. Step 1. I authorized a full forensic sweep of their financial records. I'd buried this card until now. Remember that $65K loan Kellen took out using the house? Turns out he funneled most of it into a crypto startup run by Britta's cousin. The company had already folded. Guess who hadn't filed their taxes in 2 years? Kellen. But that's not even the best part. Step 2. I made one phone call to a contact in the IRS. Let's just say, ex-cops know people. I didn't ask for favors. I just reported a tip, an anonymous one. By the following Tuesday, they were being audited. And when you've lied on your taxes and forged property documents, the IRS doesn't just fine you, they bury you. Step 3. Donnell filed for a protective court gag order, meaning if they even breathed my name in public again, they'd face contempt charges and 6 months in jail. They were silenced. Legally, but I knew that wouldn't stop them. So we escalated. Step 4. We sent Laurel, bless her, back in undercover. She agreed to accidentally attend one of Britta's new support groups. Yeah, Britta had started a Survivors of Financial Abuse group. And guess who she told them the abuser was? Me. She used my name, my story, twisted every detail, claimed I'd locked her out of her home, destroyed her family, and left her penniless. Laurel recorded the whole thing. We brought it straight to the judge. Violation of gag order, defamation, malicious misrepresentation. The court slapped her with another restraining order and a $20,000 fine. Britta's support group was dissolved. Her GoFundMe? Reported and frozen for fraud. She tried to post a new sob story on TikTok. Deleted in under 24 hours. They were cornered now, stripped of allies, drowning in legal bills. And then, Kellen cracked. I got a call from Donnell. You'll want to see this. It was a leaked text chain between Kellen and his own uncle. Apparently, he was trying to sell access to my military pension file for cash. He didn't know the uncle had already flipped sides, forwarding everything to me. That was the final straw. We went straight to the DA, charged filed. One for attempted identity theft, another for unlawful access attempt to government records. He's facing felony time, and Britta, she vanished from social media entirely. Their bank accounts? Gutted. Their reputations? Gone. But the best part? Last week, I drove past a strip mall in Cordova, saw Kellen, scrubbing graffiti off the wall of a vape shop, wearing a neon vest, court-ordered, community service. He saw me. We locked eyes. He looked away first. I didn't stop, didn't wave, didn't feel a thing. Because this wasn't revenge, it was justice. 2 months later, I got a call. Blocked number. Voicemail only. I hit play. And what I heard? Made my stomach twist. It was my mother's voice. Quinn. Please. Your brother's in trouble. He lost everything. He's not well. We know you're angry. But you need to come. Please, don't let this be how it ends. Then silence. I stared at the wall for a long time. She hadn't called me in 7 years. Not after the house. Not after the lawsuit. Not after the court hearings. The smear. Campaigns. The threats. But now she was back? Now that her golden son was circling the drain? I didn't call back. I needed answers first, so I did what I always do. I investigated. Turns out, Kellen had finally been evicted. Again, from the cheap rental they'd fled to after the court loss. Unpaid rent, 2 months behind. He tried staying. With Britta's parents, lasted a week before another screaming match. Then came the final humiliation. He pawned his wedding ring. Britta filed for divorce the next day. He was living in his car. And not just any car, my old truck. The one I sold him 5 years ago for $1 a gift. He'd spray painted over the bumper sticker that said Semper Fi, coward. Then came the fire. Literally. 2 weeks later, I got another call, this time from the sheriff's department. There's been an incident involving your old family home. I raised an eyebrow. The one I grew up in? Yeah. House went up in flames. Suspected arson. But there's more. He paused. We found papers inside. Burned files. Medical records. Bank statements, property deeds. I knew instantly. They tried to destroy evidence. I drove down there. Hadn't been to that street in years. The old neighborhood was faded, quiet. But the house, a blackened shell. Ash. Smoke. Gone. The investigator met me out front. You related to the Barrows? I nodded. He handed me a sealed evidence bag. Inside was a photograph. charred around the edges. It was me, as a kid, standing in front of that same house, holding Kellen's hand. We were smiling. It didn't even look real anymore. The fire wasn't just a blaze. It was a funeral, a last-ditch attempt to wipe out the past, erase records, bury guilt. But it didn't work, because the county had backups, all. The documents Kellen tried to torch, already filed, already submitted in court, already locked in the public record. He couldn't delete what he'd done. Not anymore. A week later, the DA confirmed it. Felony charges, pending, criminal obstruction, intentional destruction of evidence. Probation. Violation. He'd violated so many orders they were stacking like bricks on a grave. Britta? She tried one last stunt, filed a motion to suppress the recordings from her support group on grounds of emotional manipulation. Denied. Laurel testified again, straight spine, trembling voice. She knew what she was doing. She wasn't hurt. She was hunting. The courtroom went silent. Even Britta didn't speak. When it was over, I didn't celebrate. I didn't gloat. I went home, sat on my porch, same bourbon, same chair. But something felt final. The noise was gone. The fear, the pressure, the rage, all of it had burned away. All that was left was space, silence, and truth. Then one last thing happened. I got a letter in the mail. No return address. But the handwriting? Kellen's. I almost tossed it. But something made me open it. One page, sloppy ink, torn corner, probably written in his car. It read, "You were always the strong one. I just didn't want that to be true. I thought if I took what you built, maybe I wouldn't feel so small. I was wrong. I'm sorry. No excuses. No demands. No manipulation. Just an end." I folded the letter, put it in a drawer I never opened, and that night I lit a fire in the pit out back. Not to burn evidence, not to destroy, but to purge. I tossed in my old badge, the charred photo, a copy of the original trust papers, and the last spare key to the house they once tried to steal. I watched it burn. Slow. Orange. Absolute. Then I whispered, to no one, "You can keep the ashes. That's all you ever deserved," and walked back inside. And here it is, the finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined, or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention, and see you on your new adventures.